like, or they were in the car and he said something like, the parents like, and you're going to say thank you to your mum for a lovely day. And Alfie says that even though he was so young, he hated that so
I think it is something about when like a person in authority, or especially a parent, says to you, when they're like a stranger is present and they get you to sort of perform, and they're like, and our mum will say, tell them about that thing that you did. And it's like, even though you would have probably said that story, when somebody tells you that you have to do it, it's very infuriating.
Yeah, it's such a mummy thing to do.
Oh my God, the long Rachel looks so good on you.
It is a long Rachel, but I think
it's a very, very long Rachel.
No, but I feel like my hair is so short.
You're mental.
So short.
It's longer than mine has ever been, but no, and it's so much thicker. Oh no, I don't want to compare.
Watching Love Island, which is going to be a big talking point for today's episode. Yeah. Don't worry about that, people. Their hair is so long. Do you think their hair is real?
No. It's got to be extensions, especially on the first blonde one. I was thinking with her hair
Liberty.
All the way down to their Liberty, who
I like Liberty.
we like.
I do.
But we wonder, is she okay? Because she has seemingly the reading and writing capacity of a 10-year-old. Not that we've seen her reading or writing, but the way that she talks indicates that this is not a girl who reads a lot.
Well, maybe we should send her my book. It's an easy read.
I just find it so fascinating that they go on about in the intro how many thousands of people like auditioned for the show, and then you meet these people and sure, they're all very attractive, they're all very Love Island looking. Just Horatio doing a lovely low angle flattering shot there. Can't wait to see that later. And yet all of their chat is so completely mediocre and dull. It's so unbelievably boring. It's not even cringe or funny or crazy. It's like the conversations that they have are so dull, and I'm still intoxicated by it, and I still want to watch, and I can't wait to see who fancies who. But they are all dumb. They are all dumb.
Well, I just find so funny is how much they talk about how teeth are important.
My God, good teeth.
Every other sentence, like, oh, I like a man with good teeth.
Yeah.
So I've never thought, I mean, obviously you do notice if someone has bad teeth, but it's not like in my life as a child, I was like, when I grow up, I want to find a man who has good teeth. It was not a priority.
No.
Whereas for them, it is such a priority. And they all have obvious veneers. It's just like, they must have spent so much money getting here. Like to have even one veneer is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Let alone all the veneers.
It is still great though. I was very excited about watching it again, and I've seen a lot of the hype and stuff online. It's like everybody using the same meme, the feminism leaving your body when Love Island starts, because it is true. Like, despite how primitive it is still so entertaining. And I've never watched the series from the start, so I'm really going to try and keep a log of it now. And this is my take on all of the people so far. I think the only moderately interesting girls are the one who's a civil servant, Sharon.
Is she though?
But to me, it's like, you can't be that high up a civil servant. They wouldn't let you off to do Love Island. So I think that maybe you got like a part-time, like you got one of those like grad scheme things.
Or maybe she's been put on it to create good PR.
Maybe. I mean, that wouldn't be surprised if the government did something like that, because they're very unreliable. But political.
It's quite. Can we just say we were going to talk at length about the Matt Hancock kissing thing, but then we realised this podcast is going to come out till next week, so it's not going to be as relevant. But I said to BB, let's do a politically themed episode and let's get dressed up all corporate. And I forgot.
Yeah,
and
I didn't. I didn't forget. I always had a little neckerchief tied around at one point, but when I saw how Jessie arrived, I thought, no, I'm going to take that off. That'd be too embarrassing.
I don't think anyone suits a neckerchief.
No. No one past 1960, unfortunately.
No offense.
Anyway, but the Matt Hancock thing was very scandalous and fun. And I think that tied in with the World Cup, tied in with Love Island, all coming out. There's a real sense of like collective Britishness at the moment. Like, it feels like a real thing, doesn't it? It's all a bit dirty and scandalous.
Yeah, but I don't feel any connection to Britain at all. It's really strange. And nor does Alfie. Alfie, when he watches England, he actively chooses the other one to win.
Really?
Yeah, which is quite nasty, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know why he does that.
That'll make Horatio cry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you love being
genuinely
British?
texted me yesterday saying this is the best day of my life. England won yesterday. He texted me. I wasn't with him.
Football team's different.
Yeah.
More than the country.
Yeah. We get it. I don't quite get it, but I do get it.
Well, Alfie obviously had a good time watching, even though he doesn't support England because he didn't come back till 6 a.m. So, yeah, he had a good time.
He was supporting his country.
But
anyway, so yeah, my take on the Love Island girls is Sharon, the civil servant, potentially could be interesting, but we'll see. And then the one who looks like Katie Price. What's her name?
Oh, Faye. What is going on?
She's so clearly trying to be the comic one, don't you think?
Well, no, she's not trying to be
these,
comic.
Like, funny little witty
No,
things.
I reckon she's had a lot of surgery.
Of course, yeah.
So she has the humour of somebody who had to be funny.
Yes, because she probably wasn't hot before.
She wasn't probably hot, so she's learned to be a bit funny, and she's actually quite nasty too.
Yeah.
She you know, when in the first lineup where she got chosen because she was the thinnest and the most surgeried up and the most obviously pretty one to choose.
Tiny sort of bikini,
Yeah. And then she immediately, like, you know, betrayed him to step forward for the other guy. And she was quite nasty when she was like, you didn't even look me in the eye or something. You didn't, you know, no, that was Sharon. Anyway, she's a bit catty already.
She is a bit catty, and she gives me the vibes that she is in it more for the reality TV part of it than the love part of it. I mean, obviously they all are to a certain extent, but I wouldn't be surprised if she's been on other reality TV shows, because the way that she can always like deliver a sort of little catty remark that she knows the camera will pick up.
Yes,
I think that she's schooled in it. I think that she knows that she wants to get to the final.
Yeah, she does have a few one-liners.
And all of the men are just so awful. It's
but
like
the most beautiful one, I think, is Shannon, or Sharon.
Shannon, you mean the Scottish one?
Yeah, the Scottish one. Oh my gosh, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
Alfie did draw quite a lot, actually. But she also doesn't seem like she should be there.
No, she doesn't. She's
too cool.
Yeah, she's not keen on it. But I guess it would be very good for your career.
I just find it so depressing, because when I did get so into the one with Danny Dyer's daughter and Jack, and I just thought they were so well matched and they should have been together forever. And when they broke up, I remember just feeling so like depressed and deceived, and it's so weird when you see people paired together and they have kind of attributes that do line up. They're physically compatible. They have the same sense of humor. There's so many things about them that should be just so straightforward. They should last forever. And it suddenly makes you think about your own dating experiences and think, oh, I should have just been paired up with someone, and it would have worked out. But life just doesn't work like that. You get completely people who are incompatible with you, but it seems to last longer than sometimes somebody who's completely right for you on paper.
Yeah, so maybe that's why Love Island is genius. Because it kind of reflects the way that, like, even if things seem like they should work out perfectly, then they quite often don't.
Yeah.
The only couple that I like that are still together are Shanice and Luke from the last season. Yeah. And they're big on Instagram now. They've, like, created a clothing, like, brand together. They're actually really cute. So... yeah. But I think that's maybe the reason why you felt deceived when you found out that Danny and Jack had broken up, was because we all feel stupid for liking Love Island, but when we do fully commit to it and we start to like these cringy like setups and stuff, and we start to actually believe the sweetness, it feels even more like a slap in the face when they break up in real life, because you're reminded, of course they would have broken up. This was a TV show. I'm such a fucking idiot for believing it in the first place.
Yeah.
So
I would just love it so much more if they all had normal bodies, normal, no surgeried faces, not that I'm judging people who've had surgery, but just people who just weren't just normal.
Yeah.
And also people who did have stuff to say and had weird opinions and liked having like debates and stuff. It would just be so great.
Yeah.
And it's just so strange, because when you see them all in bikinis and see their beautiful bodies, you don't even really look at their faces. You don't even care what they're saying. It does come down to teeth.
Yeah.
It's just such a shame.
It becomes literally about like this very like boring binary of like perfect man, perfect woman. It's like just so strange, because in no other aspect of life or culture do we like looking at something so simplified.
But I think the reason why people love it so much, and people do sit down to say, right, I'm going to watch this every night for 30 days or however long it lasts, is because it is so primal. It is watching, animals forage around for the nearest piece of meat.
And impress each other. And
impress each other and do their like burpees and squats in front of. And it's just something so fascinating about that basic attraction.
Yeah.
And watching people experience that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I've always loved reality shows. I love Big Brother. I would watch Big Brother on when it was on 24 hours, I would just have it on.
I remember we would watch that sometimes.
Just ridiculous.
And just seeing people making their tea and just wandering around, that was the more fascinating part.
I just loved it. And I also found it quite exposing and good last night. Or I don't know which, last night. The second night, because they were taking off their makeup in front of each other and they had the shared bathroom stuff, and I don't remember that happening before. I mean, I know that eventually they do, but I thought these people have just met, they want to seem alluring and and as beautiful as they seem with all their makeup and stuff on, and there they are, like saying, oh, it's going to be a big day tomorrow. You're gonna find me attracted tomorrow, as they're taking off their makeup and stuff. I just thought that was really sweet, actually.
And the fact that they are forced to sleep in the bed together straight away, there's actually something quite like innocent and sweet and embarrassing about it, because they're all in a shared room. There's something about it that feels like this sort of weird cringy satisfaction that you get from like going to a school disco when you're 11, where you're afraid of everything, but it's also very exciting. That's the feeling that it fills me with. So I'm very excited to see how the series progresses.
I am too, because they all seem quite downbeat at the beginning. Like no one seemed to really fancy each other. No one was that excited to be there. And
that girl, Chloe, the new one that came in.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But she did have a fucking good body.
She did. And I feel like it's a bit naughty because they saved her to like come in and like swan around. And she's got the most like conventional beauty standard body. And it's like all of the others are so beautiful. And they don't even have bodies that are outside the beauty standard whatsoever. But when she came in, I was like, oh my God, I would feel fucking shit if she came in like that. But her voice was very annoying. And her whole vibe, I didn't like it. So.
But it does show that you do need time to find someone attractive. You can fancy someone immediately, but what's quite nice is that none of them do really fancy each other.
Exactly.
But once you start having conversations, it does always make a difference. But I always find that really depressing when people would say, yeah, so I'm not really attracted to him, but feelings can grow. And I always be like, oh, that's depressing. Yeah. But now I completely get it.
So yeah, it's actually reassuring to see that nobody's all over each other at this stage, because that would be like,
that would be weird. That would be a different show, but I do kind of want to watch that show too. That would be great. Like, just I don't want to watch people having sex, but I definitely would like to kind of
have it implied. Yeah, have it implied that it's somewhere in the background.
Behind that door, they are having sex.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I want to hear.
You can live vicariously through it.
Exactly, and just something just a bit more raunchy, because basically we're watching Love Island with the idea that they are eventually going to have sex, but we are watching the very like slow build. I would like a show that just gets to the point, but that is porn.
Yeah.
And I don't watch porn.
Yeah,
I wish I could.
Stop, didn't you?
I've never got into porn ever. I just don't think I could.
Really?
I've watched it, definitely watched it. It was much easier than when it was on TV and there'd be like a channel.
Like a porn channel.
Like Babe Station. And that would be easy. But now that I don't have live TV, I would have to actually I have to go and search for porn. And I don't want to watch it on my devices. That's just a bit gross. So, but I don't think Alfie does watch porn. I think it must.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he doesn't. Alfie reads books.
No.
Okay. It's about you.
I don't. The only thing I know he does, which is actually probably is a little bit more creepy than porn, every December he has a boob calendar.
What, like an old fashioned like
No.
It's
It's virtual, so you have a woman literally.
No, it's virtual. It's virtual,
so it's so you have like a GIF of a woman every day of the month in December, like lifting up her top and like. No, he doesn't. It's not an Alfie calendar, but that would be great. I would quite like that. Surely that's a thing. That must be a thing. But this is a virtual one, and it's like insane the variety of boobs out there. Yeah, you see 31 different boobs.
Because he likes a range.
He likes variety.
He likes them in all shapes and sizes.
Oh yeah. He has no type.
Which is actually quite threatening. Like, I like the fact that Horatio only seems to go for like Slavic-looking, milkmaidy girls with like busty frames. Yeah. Because then at least I fit into that category. Yeah. I know. His head isn't going to be turned.
Exactly. It's a free for all with Alfie. you get onto the tube, and he just makes a sound which I've grown to almost like the sound because it's just funny now. But he's like,
when he sees a female specimen.
anyone with any type of boobs.
Yeah.
I make him sound like a lech, but it's not. He just, you know, when you can't miss boobs in the street, and he's not going to be one of those men. On. Yeah, he's not going to be one of those men who just doesn't pretend they can't see it. He has to make it clear that he's seen them.
Sure. But he doesn't watch porn.
But I do know most things about him, and also we have very limited time. When would he watch porn?
No, it's true. It is true.
When would he watch it? When do you sit down and watch porn? Do you have to set aside a time?
No, it's different for men.
Half an hour before.
Oh, please.
I mean, watching porn in the day is probably
the most
one of the saddest things.
It's the most self-indulgent thing that you could do.
Self-indulgent is getting frozen yogurt, not watching porn in the day. Self-indulgent is literally.
I just have it on in the background while I'm doing stuff.
Okay, cool. I don't mind it on when you're having sex. Just like that would be like quite like I remember.
No. Having it on while you're having sex is like that episode of Sex and the City where Miranda's sleeping with that guy who can't stop watching porn while.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
No.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking because I don't think as I said that I was like I've never done that.
I know. I was like Jessie, wow, very adventurous.
Maybe I've thought it.
Also, I think it's just so different with men and women because like with men, it's something that categorically all boys would have been aware of from pretty much the age of like 8 or 9 or 10 or 11, and so their relationship to it is just much more of a functional thing, and then if they choose to use it as adults or not, I don't know, it's a completely different thing for women where like discovering porn and sexuality is like so much more like an internal embarrassed thing. You don't talk about it with your friends unless you get a little bit older, and then I guess you start to talk about it. But like I think women probably use porn not more but like almost in a more like real connected way, whereas men I think use it more like if they just need to like get it out of their system. Whereas I know some girls that like subscribe to feminist made porn. I think it's called Erica Lust, and it's like a female porn production company that like pay all of the actors really, really well, and they make sure that they're all really looked after, and they film it in really romantic places, and you pay for a subscription, and then you like light all these candles and you get the whole thing together, and then you watch it like it's a sort of independent film.
Right.
That creeps me out beyond belief. Okay, I would rather just watch people who are clearly being emotionally neglected, but I also try not to do that. But I think with women maybe it's like it's just more of like an emotional thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna check out Erica Lust though, even though I hate candles. Fucking hate candles.
Candles are just so lame.
Candles. Who wants who likes candles?
Yeah.
Also the risk. Come on. I'm just putting this banger here. Sorry. I'm really hungry.
A little bit of mango.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Very strange day. I had crumpets at breakfast.
You got mango for lunch?
Got mango for a snack.
Lovely.
I just thought I'd try and be laid back today and not have to, do my usual I eat the same thing every day. I'm trying to be a bit more loose.
Yeah.
And that's like translated to me putting mango awkwardly on the table in front of us and just staring at it.
So you must be, Jessie's book came out last week, 5 days ago, at the time of filming this podcast. And in my opinion, very well worded from me. And from my perspective, Jessie, it's been an amazing success. And people have been so lovely about it. And I just feel like you've handled the whole process so well and delicately and like just sincerely. So you must feel like such a sense of relief off of your shoulders.
Yeah, I'm really glad that Instagram exists. Sometimes I hate it. But right now, seeing people's photos holding the book has just been so great. And people might judge me for sharing all of those photos on my stories and stuff. I'm like sharing. If somebody's taken the time to take a photo of them holding the book and tell me that they're liking it, I am going to share that.
That's lovely.
And it's just like, it's filled me with just such a sense of just huge relief and pride that it's finished and it's done and that people are enjoying it. And that's been brilliant. It's been horrible to have the realization that I have written something which is so sad, but brilliant that I'm now not in that place. I am still sad in lots of ways, but I am able to compartmentalize that writing experience now as it's over, that's done. And it's really exciting to think about the summer ahead and the fact that it can get shared and people can see it and hand it on to people.
Yeah.
And we confronted a lot of fears doing it too. Like me and BB did on last week's podcast, you would have heard us do the live event, which is like terrifying for us to do. We've done 2 live things now and it's it's not something we are trained in.
No.
We don't know what it's like we're not interviewers. We're not, you know, I'm not used to being interviewed by you. You're not used to playing that role of an interviewer. And it kind of, it treads the line between performance and something else that we're not used to.
Like journalism almost.
Yeah. And so I feel quite like refreshed by the change in what we've had to do lately, and that's exciting.
Yeah, well, also like just having to live up to that expectation, because we had to do it, so it was like, okay, you got to do it then, I guess. And it kind of would have been the same with you in the book over a much longer process. You know, you had to complete this task and you did it, and now you're getting the wonderful feedback and validation from.
But the other thing is, I organised that event. You know, no one put on these events. I asked them to be put on. You know, because of the pandemic, it wasn't like we had a book launch, which would have been at a bookshop, and that would have been awkward, because then I think it's quite good for authors now that element has been taken away, because it means that you have to think, okay, well, how am I going to tell people I've written it, and how am I going to show people? So putting on these events and having the courage to go on stage and then even, you know, selling the books after on stage in person is so out of my comfort zone. I'm not good with talking to people, strangers.
Well, occasionally, sometimes during the questions, you would sort of direct all of your answers to like a space on the floor, because it is weird. It is weird to be able to see these people's faces, and like, you know, they're the consumer and you've made the product like that. I'm sure that must have been strange.
It feels really weird, and it's also because we're used to doing comedy stuff. It's really weird to be talking about grief on stage and like writing and creativity, which isn't necessarily funny.
Yeah.
But no, it feels like a nice time of change. Had my haircut. Jennifer Aniston. Beebe's had a haircut. I mean, Margot, I keep calling her Beebe lately. It's so weird. Margot's had her first 5 inches off, but it's just, she so wanted to get a chin length haircut like I had.
She would have been traumatized.
I know, but she was adamant. And then when it came to the moment, I was like, okay, just below the shoulder, just below. And thank God, because then she hid in the cupboard after. She's like, I don't want Daddy to see me.
No.
It was so sweet. It was so sweet.
She looks amazing.
She does look amazing, but she's also like, I can't work out if she looks 10 years older or
10 years younger.
10 years younger, even though she, you know, that
she's
wouldn't
only
be the
4. So it doesn't make any
almost
sense.
5 though. 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a joint birthday party.
Yeah, cancers together. If there is anything that's made me realize more lately that she is a Cancer, is kind of spending more time with you and stuff. She's so similar. It's just bizarre.
Well, she's a lot more confident, but she's like very sensitive and emotional and whatever.
And has the capacity to be very loud and quite show-offy, and then also be incredibly empathetic and sensitive, which is something that you've always been. And I think probably she's reminded me so much more of you lately, because she's reaching the age where we would have like really been spending a lot of time together, and you would have been speaking more. And like the idea that I had you when I was 15, oh God, that would have been great.
Yeah, I know.
So nice.
That's
maybe
so
that's
nice.
why it's reminding me so much.
Yeah, maybe that's why it is. Because she's starting to get into more like of the things that we can watch. And, like,
and you can have proper conversations.
Yeah.
It's really sweet. She did a drawing for me at school yesterday, which kind of got water on in her bag. But then when I opened up, it was all smudged, but I can make out it said, "I love you, Mummy. You are so nice to me." I was like, oh God, I hope the teachers don't see that, because they're going to think,
you're not nice to us.
what's going on? But also, one thing that I had to do for the promotion of the book is go on Sunday brunch, which was so out of my comfort zone. And I was on with the singer Ray, who has a big, big following. And we had to do a cocktail segment together. And
what was the cocktail?
They were amazing. It was like a new Aperol Spritz. It was like a lemony Aperol Spritz. It was very good. And then a gin one, which was pink and delicious and tasted like crack sugar. And I thought, okay, well, I'm on TV. I want to look like I'm a fun girl. I want to look relaxed. So Ray was behind me in the VIP area. And then Tim and Simon, the presenters, were sitting on the other sofa. And the first thing I did was spill half a cocktail on my borrowed dress. And then she was like, "Oh, babe, isn't this great?" And I wanted to be... It's like, I don't know what it's like to have a friend. And I didn't want to say babe. So I was just like, yes, oh God, it's great. It's great.
Just simulated girl chat.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
And then to overcompensate for my awkwardness, I basically downed the cocktail. And within 2 minutes, because I hadn't eaten any of the food, because I'm sorry, I did not want to eat any of the food. I was drunk on Sunday brunch.
Yeah.
And I immediately felt so confident and amazing.
Well, you got so drunk after one cocktail at the first book event that we did. So much so that when you were like, we should get another one, I was like, oh my God. It was just so unusual for you. It's just so fun. You can be so fun.
I had
sometimes.
so many cocktails that week. It's just really, it's so bad though, because it does show you, I think I could get into them. Like I could, like yesterday, I had a glass of champagne and I was like, oh, I could just have another one. And then I realized I could have this every day. It must be really hard for people.
When you get into the habit of it.
And you get in the habit of having a sugary, lovely drink.
Why wouldn't you? Why would
every
you say
day?
no?
Just have it all the time.
Why would you say no?
Exactly.
But no, this has been your cocktail week. This has been your book week.
Cocktail week.
Makes
Big
sense.
cocktail week. And, you know, Ray, I feel a bit disappointed because she was on promoting a song called Call on Me, and it was about sisters. And I thought, oh, great, that probably link up the fact that my book is about sisters. We had just talked about in the interview so much about you and the podcast, and that my book is inspired by you and about sisters. And I was like, surely they will link that up.
Yeah, wouldn't make any sense.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to follow your career. And I was like, oh, well, fine, I'll follow her on Instagram. I followed her. She hasn't followed me back.
Oh, no.
I just think, come on, Ray.
Come on.
We were on Sunday brunch together having cocktails, girl.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on, queen. Where's the love?
And she was like so dressed up so well, and they didn't do makeup or hair. So I arrived kind of like quite insecure about doing my own makeup and stuff. And I was like, oh, it's a bit weird that we have to do our own makeup. And so she's like, no, I had glam come over at 6 a.m.
Bloody
I
hell.
was like, oh, okay.
That's a different kind of woman.
You have glam. I want a glam team.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I always feel that like sometimes it's really refreshing to like be put face to face with those kinds of women who like, not saying that they're like the Love Island women at all, because that's also like a very specific type of woman that would go on that sort of show. But that kind of woman who can like put herself together and like have glam teams and
she was
like
so confident.
do girly chat and like just wear kind of outfits and just be like so intimidating and like relatable, but at the same time when people like us or girls like us try and talk to them, it's just like there's a barrier between.
Yeah, she treated me like I was a
competition winner that's come up to speak to her.
Yeah, I did feel like that. But that was my own insecurity, because she was absolutely lovely and beautiful, and obviously there's a reason why she's successful, and it's because she's putting stuff out there and she's confident. But I did find that really amazing, that the difference in how much she was speaking compared to me. And I was like, she didn't know I'd been on that show twice before. You know, I should know what I'm doing. I have been around for a long time. But I think I wasn't assertive, and I didn't have the courage to be like, right, I can say something quite funny now. Until I had my cocktail, and then I was the belle of the ball.
Well, Jessie, it's because she's a girl boss, and maybe cocktails are what takes a normal girl into a girl boss, and that's what you need to be.
But then what happens to a girl boss who doesn't need the cocktails but then has the cocktails?
Then they become woman boss.
Yeah.
You know, they become the most powerful level.
Because
they become the boss level of a video game.
But exactly, they become something. It's almost too much, maybe.
Yeah.
Because the women who don't need people. Sorry, not women. Hate women. Obviously, that's a joke.
Yeah.
I am woman. When a woman, men. All women, humans. Yeah. When they don't need alcohol to be like incredibly confident,
vivacious and sexual and intimidating.
Yeah.
Whatever.
What happens when they drink it? They must become like, maybe they become horrible.
Or they become even better, or like.
How? Because you definitely become like sassier and louder and a bit more like loose. Not sexually, just like
loose. Yeah. I let any old geezer in. Yeah. No, when I drink alcohol, I just I don't know. For example, recently, I don't get drunk or anything really anymore, but accidentally recently, I was going out to meet Horatio, and my friend Sophie had come over, and I like hadn't eaten enough during the day, so I was like a little bit tipsy. And when I finally got to find Horatio, I did get into a giant argy-bargy with him in the street. Like, I was a cunt, and I was shouting at him.
Cunt? That's the first time we've ever said cunt on this podcast.
I'm sure it's not.
I think we have to do a trigger warning.
You didn't see it though.
You didn't see me, honestly. That word isn't strong enough. But the thing is, it was like, it's just like, I think alcohol can make you become like a character. Like it like just, it becomes too easy to like switch into that part of your brain that's like performing as like an angry girlfriend. I had no reason to get into a fight with him, but I did. And then I think somebody whose cousin watches our podcast came up to us and was like, oh, my cousin.
Didn't come up,
shouted across the way.
Across the street.
Yeah. My cousin watches your podcast. And then I say, fuck off, you bitch.
Not far off.
No, I didn't. Anyway, if that was your cousin, I'm sorry.
She was really happy about that, though.
Yeah, exactly. It's always good to meet your fan.
Yeah.
But no, alcohol, like, it either transforms you into being more confident, or the confidence can, like, make you forget what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. I thought, I'll get in a fight with my boyfriend. Like, that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was so performative.
That's amazing.
So, bit naughty.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but I try not to drink too much or get too drunk or anything like that. It's just not worth it. I think once you get past a certain age, you realise the hangover is not worth it.
Well, I just couldn't live. I just couldn't, like, with the babies. I mean, like, imagine. Oh.
But do you think if you didn't have kids now, obviously it's very difficult to imagine because they've been such a part of your life, but do you think that you would drink more if you didn't have kids?
Yeah, definitely. And I was drinking more until I got pregnant, but then it just kind of, you aren't allowed to drink alcohol when you're pregnant.
Yeah, exactly. And 9 months out of the game would probably just change your whole attitude to alcohol anyway.
Even 9 months out of the game with coffee has affected me suddenly. I still think of coffee as like slightly like something that's bad because you're not supposed to drink it when you're pregnant. Me and Bibi did our first Barry's boot camp class yesterday. It was like an impulsive decision, partly due to suddenly having a little bit more time and thinking, and we've moved to an area where we're finally near things again, which is great. And so it was quite traumatic.
It was horrendous. I almost threw up, and I did cry a little bit at one point, but I didn't show you.
And they have the really awkward plastic sheeting thing between each treadmill. So at one point, Bibi did say something, and now I realise it was you saying you can't breathe or something. Like, like
I was like, my lungs hurt. They really, really hurt.
Oh, but it was, and also it was so limited capacity because of. They must make so much money, but they also must have lost quite a lot of money.
Yeah. I just felt so exposed because, like, clearly I was doing the beginner's level, which I had to do because
She kept being like, come on, girls.
Yeah. She didn't know who my name was, so she kept referring to me as Jessie and Co. And then stepping on my treadmill and being like, come on, 0.5% up. I know you can do it.
Even just 0.1. Even just 0.1.
Yeah, just up a little bit, treating me like I was incompetent. Which I kind of was in the class because some people were going like twice as fast as me, but it's like that's what I had to be doing. And she seemed to only like be telling me off. So
No, she really wasn't. She was telling both of us off.
So it was a bit embarrassing. But I genuinely can't move my body today. I can't walk downstairs. I have to move my legs like a stick man. Like, I can't hinge it in the middle. The knees aren't working. It hurts too much.
It was quite great, though, because we haven't been in a class since March 2020. And the last time we went was together. And it's kind of, it does show that, oh, good, this is the sign that things are going to
And being in an environment like that means that you genuinely, you said it yesterday, don't think for an hour.
I cannot believe. I was having a huge stress attack about my cot that I bought from a brand that I have actually done little bits of work for, and I thought, oh, I'm going to buy their great cot, and like it's going to be perfect, and finally the baby's going to have, like, Donnie and Margot have never had a cot, and I just thought this is going to be the baby has a cot, and it's faulty. There are so many things wrong with it. It's taken 3 days to sort out. It's a fucking nightmare. And I'd been on the call line to them all morning. So going to the class was the first moment I've had away from the baby and away from doing any work stuff where I just could just focus on my body. And that was quite great. Even though I have really enjoyed exercising at home, but it was just something so nice about just being in a dark room and being screamed at by a stranger, you know?
But it is so strange that, like, it is such a satisfying experience. And 10 minutes after you come out, you're so grateful and thankful that you did it. But the fact is, the hour that you are in there, it is awful.
It's really hard.
It's awful.
But it makes you think of time so differently, because when you're struggling so hard for that, like, 1 minute uphill or something, she's
40
like
seconds
20
feels
seconds.
Like the longest time ever.
The longest time ever. So it does make you appreciate time in a day more. Did you find you were really hot all day? I was boiling and it was cold. But it was because obviously your, like, body was so shocked.
Yeah. And I probably ate twice as much as I should have yesterday just because I was ravenous. And I was like, God, my muscles, I need to feed my muscles. So it's like,
that's the stupid
right
thing.
to do.
Yeah, but exercise, that's what it does make me realise. Once you eventually do it, it is great, obviously, to exercise for your body, but you do end up being hungrier. So
yeah, it's like, it's not
what's the
worth
point?
it.
What's the
I would
point?
rather that my body is almost in a state of shutting down at all points. Like, it's in such low function, and I just don't support it, but I also don't force it to move that much. So that's what I prefer. Because then I'll be
you're
like
lucky.
an old woman that will live until she's like 120, because my metabolism would just be so slow.
No, it's fine. You're young enough that you don't actually need to. It's only getting to the age I am now with the lack of sleep that I'm realizing, oh yeah, I'm actually getting older. Fuck, I need to actually move my body in terms of like stretching and stuff that I haven't thought about before. I've always thought of exercise in terms of thinness. That's so far from my agenda now.
It's just about
I just
strength.
don't care. There's something in the last 6 months where I've just been like, oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
And that must be age or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
must be writing more, or I don't know. But I just don't care anymore
But
about
the
my
fact
weight.
is, you don't look any different than you did 10 years ago. So if you feel different, that must be quite like a weird sensation.
Oh, it's
because
so weird.
you
Like
don't
getting
get
up
to
from the
recognise
sofa.
it. Yeah.
Just like I sit on the sofa with one leg under a thigh, and that's how I've sat for years. And now that is an injury, basically.
Really?
It's so weird. It's so sad. Aging is so sad.
Aging is so sad,
Yeah.
that we're all going to die.
Oh, okay. Well, so basically, let's try to end on a positive note.
Yeah,
then.
yeah. No, but the thing is, the fact that we are all going to die is also a positive note.
And it's
you know?
comforting.
Because I've been reading about stoicism recently. When I was struggling with like some emotional issues.
I'm going to have some mango while you say this serious thing.
Yeah. Well, I was struggling with some emotional issues recently, which wasn't surprising because apparently Mercury was in retrograde.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I saw this TikTok and this girl, beautiful, like hippie looking, holding all these crystals, was like, "Hey you, if you've been having a weird month, let me just tell you, it's over now. Mercury was in retrograde and Juno's Venus was spinning around the something. So that's why you were feeling awful. And let me just tell you, you've got a beautiful summer ahead of you. It's all going uphill now." And rather than thinking, oh, I've done this badly this month, or I had that problem this month, and instead of all of those things, the logical adult conclusions I should have come to, I was like, oh my God, amazing. All of those issues I had, they weren't my fault. Mercury was in retrograde. That's great. So I've been feeling really positive the last week because, it's my birth season, baby. It's Cancer season. I'm turning 24 years old.
Aren't you borderline Leo?
Yeah, borderline Leo, because the next day
I really don't get on with Leos.
Yeah, well,
So
thank God.
we're very lucky that
Yeah. That's probably why we fight so extreme.
Maybe.
Because the Leo part of my
I wonder how much Leo you have in you.
I wonder.
Yeah, we should do that. I'm sorry if you heard my crunching on my extremely hard mango just then while BB was doing the Mercury retrograde.
Like chewing an
I
ice
really
cube.
don't like hearing people eat on podcasts.
No. And I really don't like watching people eat. And I've also noticed I have a new pet peeve on TV shows.
Ooh.
Because me and my mum have been watching this French TV show. And obviously they eat a lot in France and in French TV shows.
How are they so thin then?
Because they eat very whole, like they eat really healthy.
They like
foods.
snails and stuff, yeah.
If you
And
eat-
baguettes.
if you fill your whole day with like whole, satisfying, healthy foods, the Mediterranean diet is like notoriously healthy and good for keeping thin.
But that's not the Mediterranean, is it, France?
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Yeah, like my diet, the abundance diet, founded by Gillian McKeith.
That's a fucking blast from the past. Isn't she the one that used to make people look at their own shit?
You stuck with me, Gillian. Can't get you out of my head.
She was
Can't-
so funny.
she-
She literally looked like an alien. She looked like she lived on people's
She's
souls.
really funny. She's really funny. You had to hand your shit in a box.
It was such a weird time.
Oh
in
my
British
God.
television, we had absolutely no fucking decency.
But,
It was like
oh no,
Big
I loved
Brother,
it.
Nikki Graham. Oh, R.I.P. Nikki Graham. Actually, I don't.
Oh
shouldn't
my
say
god,
that.
shit.
But
And
it was
Jade,
like that- it was
Jade
that-
and Nikki were my favourite Big Brother
It was
contestants.
that period of time in British TV where it was like a watershed moment where people could be so completely scandalous. That was just like that was what was on TV, and Gillian fucking McKeith was part of that.
Yeah, she was probably really
Disgusting woman. She needs to be jailed for crimes against
Okay,
humanity.
I love you, Gillian, and I am still following. I am still following your abundance diet, and if you want to hear about the abundance diet, we'll be talking about that on Patreon.
No,
Just-
no
I want
human
to
being should
spread.
associate themselves that much
Well,
with
I am.
shit.
If you want to listen to my abundance diet, inspired by Gillian McKeith, you can.
But anyway, what I was going to say is I have a bit of a pet peeve now with characters on TV shows doing that thing where they're eating in a scene and they pick up a piece of food and they're chewing as like the other character is speaking to them. And then before they finish chewing, they pick up their drink and then they sip the drink. And it's like, I don't want to know that you have to absorb liquid in order to be able to like swallow your food. Like that is so disgusting. Are you a baby bird? Like
what's that word?
It pisses me off.
Yes.
And
peristalsis.
And I don't do that. I don't do it in real life because I think it's gross. But and obviously I see people do it in real life. But to show it on TV, I just found that so gross. This is a sexy lead French male actor. I do not want to like know that he's slurping down a little bit of his drink so that he can like swallow his fucking bread. It's just so gross to me.
Yeah, it's just too obviously
it's
like aiding digestion.
Exactly. It's just too functional. Yuck. I don't want to know about that.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, I don't enjoy. When the second a character is eating on TV, I clock the amount they've got, and then I try and work out the continuity errors.
Oh yeah. That's always really fun.
Oh my god! Now that I'm back on, I'm heavy on Friends, watching Friends all the time because the kids now love the Friends. They love the Friends. Which I know probably isn't. I try and get the episodes which they don't say sex as much. And there are loads actually. You know, the ones with the monkey.
Yeah. The cheesecake episode.
It's very fine. Very fine.
We haven't been back in a while. We're a little out of practice.
Oh God, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, if you watch Rachel or Monica eat, or Phoebe, any of the women,
They never put it in their mouth,
they
do they?
never eat. They never eat, or they do a little, no full mouthful.
Yeah. Whereas Matthew Perry's always holding that chocolate milk. I think he must have been sponsored by it during Friends because he's always got that chocolate milk with the yellow label in Friends.
I stumbled upon an episode I'd never seen a couple of days ago. Can you imagine the luck?
That's like finding treasure. That's like literally that's modern day treasure, finding an episode of Friends that you haven't seen.
Because very rarely I'm watching something and I have not seen it before, or I'm not really into it. I realised I'd never been as excited watching something as I had been stumbling upon this episode.
Oh my God.
It was great. I don't even
time capsule. That's beautiful.
Yeah. But I just found out, only because I did this interview and the interviewer wrote it in the thing, which I didn't realise, but Jennifer Aniston was told to lose £30 before she got the role.
No.
£30.
30.
How much is
£30?
£30? How many stoners is that?
2 stone.
Oh, fuck.
That's 2 stone.
Yeah.
That is bananas in pajamas.
I really want to listen to that Mark Maron podcast.
With Lisa Kudrow.
Mark Maron.
Mark Maron.
Mark Maron. Yeah. So, I think that's probably enough time.
Yeah.
I think just hopefully we didn't swear, we didn't offend.
40 minutes.
I don't know, we can do it a little bit
Okay,
more.
cool. Hopefully BB didn't offend anyone by saying cunt. I'm really sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
God, I have this thing at the moment where it's like every time I talk, my mouth gets so dry and wiry. So weird.
You liquidated.
Hydrated, yeah.
Hydrated. Yeah.
You got to cut this out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jessie said that she, after watching the Matt Hancock footage, that you actually fancied him a little bit.
I did.
Do you want to expand on that?
I didn't fancy him. I definitely could see, like, you can't deny he had some moves. He really did. He was definitely, like, he sculpted her bum up. He, like, did a full bum move.
He definitely was more handsy than I was expecting.
Exactly. He was passionate.
Passion. Yeah, the way he stands at the podium definitely didn't translate into how he handled this lady podium.
It was shocking.
It was a lot more sort of cupping action. Yeah.
Yeah.
As you said.
It was like he wanted to feel her body.
Yeah. It's the footage of him looking through the door though. It's the footage of him checking to see if anybody's there though, nervously, with hesitation, that really put me off instantly because
they're cheating.
Because they're cheating and they are doing something bad, and they tried to play it off like he's left his wife and that she knew, but obviously that's not the case. They both have been bad people. And I guess there's something kind of sexy about people in their 40s who are still behaving like teenagers.
Yeah,
like
but the fact that they knew each other at Oxford or Cambridge or one of them.
And they probably had like this long, like running, like flirtation or whatever. But when you think about the fact that it's in a government building and that she's been hired and she's being paid like taxpayer money, to essentially like be his friend or something. You don't know what she's. I mean, I've read reports of the fact that like she's been in all of these meetings and been privy to all of these decisions, but a lot of the civil servants don't actually know what she's particularly doing there.
And she's apparently very underqualified.
Yeah, so it's like, did he hire her as like just a piece of ass?
Oh God.
And Matt Hancock, we don't know what kind of a guy he is now, and it's all up for grabs.
I do feel deeply sorry for him though, that's the end of his career. I mean, he probably will come back, but
It's shameful.
It is
really
incredibly shameful and embarrassing. His poor kids. I mean, it's just such a fucking depressing end to his career. And he has, no matter what anyone says, you know, it's not a great job.
No.
They have a hard time, and he
definitely had to go through a lot over the last year and a half. But I guess if you think about it, that's what anyone who signs up to getting into politics does sign up for.
It does. It is crazy that he was caught, and I mean that also is another side of it. Like how was the camera in there, and that's a bit horrible. But at the same time, the fact that he didn't have the moral compass and the wherewithal to not be in the building doing that is shocking.
Yeah, because it's about what it implies. It was so clearly something they've been doing for a long time, and it's so clearly like a secret, but also not that well kept a secret because the door wasn't even properly closed. And you know, I don't know, there was just something that like smacked of something very kind of lazy and entitled about it. It's obviously quite fun and scandalous, but actually if you think about what it means, these two millionaires who have commitments and jobs and marriages and kids. Well, she certainly is. She's married to the guy who founded Oliver Bonus. You know,
that,
right.
Like, yeah, the shitty shop.
The really shitty.
That I love. Really like.
But it's on every high street. And he's presumably he went to private school in Oxford or whatever. It just the childishness of it. It's like, grow the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like you've had your fun. Like you've had all of the perks of having the most like elite life. I don't think that you should be doing that.
But I think almost as punishment, now they should be together and stay together forever.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if you're gonna have a little kiss like that in
Yeah, but the
public
thing is,
and
that's
ruin some people's lives, you stay together and you're committed and you're monogamous.
But that's what they're saying now in the news. They're saying that they're going to start setting up a home together. But wouldn't it be fascinating if that's the most positive PR that they can spin?
Yeah.
Like if we pretend that they are so in love and that they're going to move in together and they've left their partners, but then these two people who probably just wanted to have a little fling, just to escape their boring lives, have to now end up together.
No, but that's what I want. It's punishment.
That would be a great film.
It would be a great film,
That would be a fucking great film. Get them on fucking.
Do you know what I'm going to write? Do you know what I've decided my next project is, which will never happen? It's probably already in development with someone else. I think I'm going to write the Judy Murray film.
Oh.
And by the time it gets made, I will be old enough to play Judy Murray.
You could play a young Judy Murray.
I can't do a Scottish accent. You know I can't do a Scottish. You could play Judy Murray. So maybe that's what we should do.
Yeah,
because I was watching. Do you know he's had 4 kids? This shows how long since I've watched tennis. I decided I'm going to get into Love Island. I'm going to get into Wimbledon this year. He's had 4 kids.
Andy Murray.
In the last, basically, his oldest one is 5, and he's just had a baby.
I can't believe that.
4 kids and a metal hip. He's got a fake hip.
Bloody hell, Andy's been through the wars.
I know. But how amazing. He's so determined to come back to his full fitness. He's had a fake hip. It shows that it's the dawn of a new age in terms of sport, because players can just keep, getting new hips and keep playing. They don't have to retire.
Football players are older than ever, obviously.
Footballers are older and hotter than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh, my God.
Surrogate mother, just having a little boy on his own. Fascinating.
You need to watch the documentary. It's great. It's really basic, but it's really good.
It's so funny having a boyfriend that's like so knowledgeable about football and everything like that, because when I'm watching it with him and he's telling me all of these facts about it, I find it so fascinating because it's wonderful that like you've learned all this stuff. Like, I don't know where this information has come from or how many hours it must have taken of you watching football and playing football to like absorb all of this knowledge. And it's so exciting to me. It's like a world that I don't know about. But the second I try to watch football, like I did yesterday with the England game, and I'm not with him, it literally refuses to go into my head.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I have watched so many hours of sports documentaries now that I do know quite a lot more than I thought I would ever know about sport. Mm-hmm. But it's quite nice. Again, it's passion.
Yeah.
If somebody has a passion in something, they're just more attractive.
Yeah, I think it is quite attractive when men have like an interest in sports. Not like so much so that it takes their whole life, but it shows that like they like have a fun sort of boyishness.
Yeah, and they can escape.
It's like a connection to childhood.
They have the propensity to escape. It's propensity of words. I've used some really good words this podcast.
You really have.
I really fucking have. I'm a novelist now.
Yeah, you are. You just gotta live it. Live your dream.
Yeah.
But also, the fact is, if people read the novel now and really, really like it, and then come and try and find you via the podcast to like hear about you talking all eloquently,
They'll be shocked.
And then they just come to hear us talking about like fucking
how many calories in a bag of HP nuts?
Yeah. So 1,500.
A big one. A share
Big
pack.
one. Easy. Do you know what I mean? That's good news.
Just have it with you all day.
Exactly. Just a little snack pack.
Keep hydrated though, because it's very salty.
Very, very salty. If you're going to be having KP nuts, you need to be staying very hydrated.
The best nut though.
Best nut.
Roasted peanut.
I went for a bag in a day, literally a couple of days ago.
I actually think I might do that again. Salted peanut day. It's just a salted peanut day.
Yeah. Are you a salted girl or are you a dry roast?
I'm definitely salted actually.
I'm a dry roast.
Oh yeah. Such good stuff. Such good nuts. Thank you for listening. Especially if you also have supported us. We haven't been that active on Patreon lately because of the book stuff, but we're back on it now. So
Get ready.
Yeah, patreon.com/cavesisters if you want to support this podcast.
See you soon. See you next week.
She's going crazy now. She's going